Every day I get asked how I've been able to scale so far in the online space, what business model I'm running, and what I actually do on a day-to-day basis. So today I'm breaking down the exact model that's allowed me to scale multiple businesses to 100K a month and how my agency takes 25 to 30% of that every single month. So the model that I run is called Growth Operating, and it's been getting a lot of hype, a lot of attention in the space recently because of how many people have been able to see such great success with it. So as someone who's been running it for quite a while, I'm going to be walking you through what exactly it is, what I do on a day-to-day basis, and how I've been able to scale so far with it. To understand why so many people are running this type of agency, you need to understand the benefits of it first. This isn't an SMMA where you need 20 clients just to stay afloat, not to mention the super high client churn that you're dealing with, permanently onboarding new people, and having to deal with such low margins. With Growth Operating, you only need 1 or 2 creators to really make it big in the space. On top of that, you're actually getting rewarded proportionally to the results that you deliver for your clients. This isn't getting stuck on a 1.5, 2K a month retainer. This is actively taking 25 to 30% of their business. So if you're delivering results and their business is actually scaling, your income is going to reflect that directly. So you might have got the gist of it already, but I'm going to dive into what specifically is Growth Operating, how it benefits you, and how it also benefits the client that you're partnering with. So what is Growth Operating? Growth Operating is partnering with a creator who already has an existing audience. They may already have a product, something ready to sell, and you're working with them to scale that product. Or potentially you're working with somebody who doesn't have an offer yet, and you're building out an offer, you're building out a community, something for them to sell, and then continue to scale that business with them. But essentially what Growth Operating is all it is just monetizing a creator's existing audience and turning it into a business which can continue to grow. So next you need to look at why it's actually beneficial for a creator or an influencer to partner with you. Why are they going to want to work with a growth operator? Well, first you need to understand how much time it actually takes to be a content creator. So many people see somebody walking around with a phone like this and think it's super easy. But the truth is, being a content creator takes a lot of time, and to continue pumping out good content that responds, it takes a lot of work. So that, on top of fulfilling their clients, is going to take a lot of time in their day, and they don't have the time to run a full business. So the whole point of a growth operator is you come in and you run the entire business side of stuff for them. And on top of that, many creators, specifically if you look at fitness creators or a lot of other people in the space, they don't actually know how to run a business. They're really good at producing content that it attracts an audience, but they don't understand how to actually monetize it and how to turn that audience into paying customers. So now that you actually understand why it's beneficial for a creator to want to work with a growth operator, why is a growth operator? What would you want to work with an influencer? Well, it's as simple as the fact that you can sell a product, you can sell anything from someone else's audience. And building up an audience, building up lead generation, building up lead flow is incredibly difficult to do. And the truth is, we've already established that the amount of time that takes. You can work with these creators and literally steal their audience and monetize it into a product for yourself without ever having to worry about any sort of lead generation at all. You literally just come in, run the business side of stuff and sell a product, and in return you're taking up to 30% of their business, all for just running the business side of stuff. And realistically, the majority of what actually growth operating is there's a lot of initial upfront work. You implement all of the correct systems, but once you've implemented all of those systems, it's just management, and it's just staying on top of the current leads that you have in your system. And because of that, it means you can work with more than one creator. You can partner with 2, 3, even 4 creators is very doable, and it means it's very sustainable, because if one business has a bad month, then you've got the other creators that continue to support your business. And so for a business that's doing 100K a month, if you're taking 25, 30% of that as an agency, then you're making 25, 30,000 a month just from using someone else's audience. And it's very doable to work with 2, 3, potentially even 4 of these creators. So your income is going to stack up very quickly. And as I already mentioned, as these businesses continue to scale, then your income is just going to continue to scale with that business. So you don't need to have super high churn from clients. You just continue working with the same creators over a long period of time. And in return, your income and their income is going to scale as you scale their business for them. So what are you actually doing for these creators? Well, the first thing I always do after I onboard a new client is I either build out or I refine their existing offer. Their offer needs to be built in a way which is actually marketable, you can sell, and is scalable. You can't have an offer which is handicapped by the amount of time it takes the creator to actually fulfill the clients. It needs to be marketable, and you need to be able to sell it, but also in a way where you can actually scale with the product itself. So the first thing I look at is market research. What are existing creators in the space doing? What's working for them? And how can I identify an angle where we can be unique from the market and actually fill that gap? So once you've built out a product which is irresistible and you can actually scale with, you need to look at what the responsibilities of a growth operator beyond that. And that really comes into sales, marketing, and operations. And looking at sales first, that specifically means building out sales teams and managing them. And this is arguably one of the most difficult parts about growth operating, because you need to stay across so many different deals, so many different reps, especially if you're managing multiple offers. Staying across this many people can be super difficult. But you're building out assets for them, you're doing regular training sessions, and you're dialing in your sales process so far that it'll be impossible not to convert these audiences into actual paying customers. Then from there, it's looking at the marketing. It's looking at what message am I actually delivering? Who am I helping? What specifically does our product help people do? And am I actually getting that across to my audience? And am I selling myself in a way where people are actually going to want to work with me? Marketing is an incredibly important tool, and there's a lot that goes into it. Whether you're scaling organically or whether you're running paid ads, like marketing is super important, and how you portray yourself and how you actually sell yourself is one of the most important parts of actually running a business. So although it's the creator's responsibility to do all the content creation and do all the hard work when it comes to actually producing content for the offer on the marketing side of stuff, it's your responsibility to make sure that they're actually delivering the right message and that their content that they're generating is actually something that we can sell. They need to create their content in a way which it aligns with our product, it aligns with our sales systems that we're running, and we can actually sell that product and continue to scale with it. So you also need to be looking at operations. What operationally needs to be run in a business? And the goal for that is to save yourself as much time as possible. The whole point of operations is to make the business run as smooth and as efficiently as possible. So whether that be automating a system which makes client onboarding smoother, or whether you're sending some sort of reminder to a client, send a reminder to a prospect that they have a sales call so your show rates are higher. All of this stuff, like, you can automate, you can do with operations, and the whole goal behind it is to save yourself and the creator as much time as possible, because your time is your most valuable asset at the end of the day. Of course, obviously, I can dive into all of these areas so much more in depth, whether it be looking at offer creation, sales, marketing, or operations. All of these areas can go into so much depth. And obviously I don't have that much time to cover that all on one video, so I'll make some other videos diving into each of those sections individually and what that really looks like. But hopefully that gives you a bit of a brief overview of what is encompassed in the responsibilities of being a growth operator. So now I'm going to be diving into how I've actually been able to scale so far with growth operating, and specifically how I've been able to scale individual clients and how I've been able to scale with multiple clients. So whenever I onboard a new creator, I always find that there's so much upfront work with growth operating, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's actually a benefit. Because initially you're doing a lot of work up front, you're building out systems, you're refining their offer, you're working on their marketing angle, you're implementing sales teams. But once all of that's actually done, it just comes down to managing the offer. Once you've have got through that upfront work, it just comes down to finding the holes in the business by reviewing all of your KPIs. Once you found those holes, just plugging them, and then continuing to manage and just scale the business just by staying on top of all of the systems that you've already built. So once you've actually built out all of those systems for the first creator, and it comes down to actually just managing them, reviewing your KPIs, and continue to scale as a business with them, you can start the process over again with a new creator. Because at the end of the day, once it comes down to the management, you're actually not spending that much time per day on each business. So once that initial workload is out of the way up front, you're going to have not actually too much time being spent per day per creator once everything's built out. So you can start working on your next creator. You can start that upfront work again, and often you can just literally pick up and place the systems from other businesses that you've scaled into the new ones, because a lot of the time there's a lot of overlap. Obviously there's differences per business and every offer is different, but a lot of the time, a lot of the operational stuff you've built out can literally just be placed into the new business. So with each creator, as you continue to build out more systems, it just becomes easier and easier and easier to scale more creators and more businesses. And from there, once you have your creators, whether it be 2, 3 creators, or maybe 4, it depends on how many it takes for you to be at a point where you're happy. Once you have all of those systems built out, it just comes down to maintaining all of their systems and continuing to grow with the businesses that you have. This isn't an SMMA with a churn super high. Maybe you might have a little bit of churn here and there, but nothing on the same scale. As long as you're delivering results for these clients, then they're going to want to continue working with you, and they're going to continue wanting to have you scale their business for them. So realistically, once all of your systems are built out, it just comes down to managing and continuing to scale the clients that you have. You don't need to worry about finding new clients permanently. It's a super simple model that's straightforward and easy to run. And actually, once you have all of your systems in place, it can actually be a lot more time efficient on your end than running another agency type like an SMMA, for example. And realistically, I see growth operating as a model with really good longevity and that's actually robustable. The online space is always growing. New creators are popping up left, right, and center. And by 2035, the info product space is estimated to be worth around 1.7 trillion US dollars. So the space is going nowhere. New creators are always appearing, and it takes so much time for them to run and produce content that they need growth operators. A lot of the time, majority of them also have no idea how to run a business. You're literally coming in and fulfilling the entire business side of stuff for them. They get to do what they love, which is content creation, and you take so much time off their hands by running the entire business side of stuff that they're literally going to be begging to work with you as an operator. I hope this video and breakdown was able to actually explain to you what growth operating is, why so many people are getting into it, and why the people that get into it are seeing such great success with it as a model. If you're considering getting into growth operating for yourself and running your own info product agency and want one-to-one direct support from me to be able to get to that point, then check the first link in the description below to be able to apply to work with me.